Welcome back. Still have our guests, Mr. Jermaine Sanwo-Olu and Mr. Clem Baye. The presidency has indicated that with the receipt of confirmation for every one of the men and women that he sent to the National Assembly, I guess the next step is a retreat. Clem, we can imagine what retreats are about, but what do you expect that they will be telling themselves in this particular retreat?
I would be happy to hear that at that retreat, amongst the things they're going to do should be that the president should lay out his vision.
Okay.
For what he intends to accomplish. Beyond whatever he's been saying before.
Beyond the APC roadmap.
Yeah.
Now there's a matter of strategy.
There's a matter of strategy, and to look at it. And also to tell them what he expects from them in terms from the reporting system.
Okay.
I query the reporting system that we adopt as a nation. When I say reporting, in the sense that the ministers go to the cabinet, I think every week, every Wednesday, something like that.
Isn't it every month? Is it every week? Anyway,
I think
that detail escapes me now.
Or every other week.
Yes, okay.
They cannot, if they want to achieve things, they cannot be having too many meetings. And I would like to hear that no more a question of after cabinet meeting, these were the contracts that were approved. I thought that we should say that the president is coming up with a bill to merge the department of so-and-so with the department of so-and-so.
That's worthy of announcement.
It's worthy of announcement.
Could I interrupt you for a moment? I beg your pardon for doing so. Richard has called in from Ogudu. Thank you very much for holding on, Richard. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Priori. Good morning.
Good morning.
Gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You see, for me, I think it's high time Nigerians begin to think outside the box. We all need to begin to think outside the box. If we have been governing this country in a particular way that is generating heat across board, and President Muhammadu Buhari decided to do it in the way he's going about it today, we should just look for how to follow up, comparing notes, area where it's not well done, we criticize constructively, area wherever we witness waste, we raise alarm until we can find what will suit Nigeria. Nigeria is just too complex, gentlemen. It's too complex.
Richard, you accept and understand when the president says the ministries won't go round, even though all of those guys will be attending cabinet meetings.
Of course, there's no way. You can only continue to repeat what is going on if you say it should go round. You will continue the mass waste. You will continue to pay for all their paraphernalia in that office. They will continue to come out with siren on the street. You will not. How will Buhari know if they begin to live lights? So the only thing is to try walk around what he is bringing on the table.
Okay.
And let's see whether it's doable.
All right, then. Thank you very much for calling in, Richard. Appreciate your call. Clem, let me just ask you, what do you think personally? If, as the president has said, the ministries won't go around, simply, among other reasons, because, quite frankly, we need to be, more thrifty. Are we saving that much by, for instance, how many did you get approved? 36?
36.
36?
Yeah.
Let's say only half of that. Let's say 20 ministries only. But by not having those other, the other ones, the 16 other ones, are we saving that much of a packet?
Well, we should be careful not to think only, not to be penny wise, pound foolish.
Okay.
I see that at times as one of the trends of our current president, that at times he wants to save naira and kobo, and we actually, it's not in our interest. But I only said that as an aside, because we must not give impression here that the president cannot be criticized. Okay. He can be criticized.
Of course.
All right. Now, the issue
constructively,
is... Constructively, absolutely. The issue is this, that
Remy, I'll be with you. One moment, please.
Richard just used the word waste. Supposing you had 3 or 4 special ministers for special duties. Don't call them anything, because I know Nigerians say, oh, you are the minister for waste. So you are a wasted minister. You know, government reforms, I'm sorry to repeat, is very important. We are carrying a lot of dead wood in our system. The structure of governance cannot generate something. People change regularly. You have Department of Business and Skills in the country you live in right now, even though you are a Nigerian.
Yes.
And you know that Chuka Umuna used to be a minister. Was it something? He was in charge of that area.
Well, yes.
Now,
but he had to withdraw. He resigned.
Yes, I know. Business and Skills.
Politics.
We call it the Ministry of Commerce. You see, when people deal with the bureaucracy in Nigeria, what they're seeing is that the bureaucracy is helping the people. Look, it's not helping the people. They are our servants. So when you begin to change nomenclatures, you begin to change the thematic assignments of ministries, the people begin to conform.
Okay. Remy, I really apologize. Please go ahead, and thank you very, very much for holding on all that while.
Good morning.
Good morning, Remy.
You see, it baffles me a lot. Recently I watched a documentary on Singapore titled Visions and Values of the Founding Fathers of Singapore. It's a documentary that must be shown to Nigerians. When this leader was on this speech trying to reform Singapore, he was called all manners of names. Eventually he got there. You see, at times I look at democracy. Is democracy the best form of government? People try to talk about democracy. It slows down a number of things. And like your guest said there, honestly speaking, I want to see a cabinet where there won't be all this type of Wednesday meetings. When they want to have a meeting, it should be taken to the state, maybe twice in a month. It will help them to see things on the ground. Nigeria must move forward. Honestly speaking, every impediment, every obstacle must be removed. Criticism will come, but I know for sure at the end of the day, truth will prevail. Let us allow Buhari to work. This man has come not for personal gain. He has come to listen in response to the cry of Nigeria for a change. And I'm very sure this change will surely come.
Okay.
We campaign.
Thank you very much for calling in, Remy. Jermaine, there's a lot of work to be done. The president is going about it in a particular kind of way. He has said that the situation was dire. You know, I just wanted to escape the word bad, but the situation was dire when they took over this administration. It therefore follows, and we've seen that already, that as you know, they say that if you keep doing this, if you keep doing a thing in the same way and expect a different result, then you've got to be cuckoo.
Yeah.
So clearly, this whole change thing, as Clem said earlier, the president has a marvelous opportunity to actually put a strategy on ground now. Now that we've got all the implements that we need, all that's left now is a strategy, and then we want to see your moves. You know, it's one thing for the coach to say this in the locker room, and they said it. Now out there on the field, people want to see your moves, and say, now we've not seen moves like this before. Yeah. Not only have we not seen moves like this before, you know, we're pressurizing that other team. We never used to get this deep in, you know, to use that analogy. You know, that's what the expectations are very, very high. Make no mistake about it. Yes. People might love the president. People might love what he's saying. But all of that is going to depend on performance at the end of the day. So people are watching out, and I think that's part of what Remy has just said, that we need to just shine our eye, be looking, be supportive, but just make sure that we are part of it, we own it.
Absolutely.
You agree with that?
Yes.
Especially the part that we can't do things the way we did them yesterday.
Exactly. But I understand I said that, and it was wise for saying so. And one thing you need to know is that I studied estate management in University of Lagos, and foundations are very, very important when it comes to building.
And I beg your pardon for doing so. That's what happens on a calling show. I'm going to come back to you, so just hold your train of thought, and then when Mr. George has finished, you can just continue. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
And good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
Uncle Yori, please permit me to disagree with Mr. President that there can be no portfolios for all the ministers.
Okay.
There is enough portfolio for all the ministers. You can say there isn't money to service the ministers the way we used to do. And that cost can be reduced. I even understand that some of the ministers are willing to work without pay. Why don't you reduce their allowances? If you look at the number of ministries and the number of ministers designated now, you can take it that 2 ministers can be in one ministry. In that case, you have a cabinet ranking minister and then a minister of state. When I looked at the program and the manifesto of APC, there is a lot of work to be done in every ministry. Take, for example, the Ministry of Education. If you are going to feed about 6 million children in school every day, and you have 123 universities with 200,000 secondary schools or so in Nigeria, can one minister handle all that? There should be a minister that is of cabinet ranking, and then a minister of state, and then you share the duties.
Okay.
In the Ministry of Power is the same thing. In other ministries, it's the same. There is a lot of work to be done.
Very much like Mr. Baye was saying earlier, if you had joined us then.
Exactly. If
Yes.
we don't have money to pay all the ministers what they normally take, that is understandable. Let us cut the expenses. The work is there for them to do. So I don't agree that there can be no portfolios for all of them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George, for calling in. The other thing, of course, since Mr. George there just reminded us that they have been, I don't think they are able to get anybody and quote him Koro, but but there have been ideas about maybe some people don't even need to be paid, that kind of a thing as part of their sacrifice. But jokes apart, and well, still being slightly jocular because Nigerians are very serious with money, is it not even conceivable that whatever the ministers were costing us before, this is a new dispensation, it'll be costing us 40% of that, and we just, if you're not on board now, say so I can release you. Whatever was going on before in this ministry, your entitlements come to number at 40, 50%. It might be a bit whip cracking, but do you think things like that can be brought to bear? Say it's a sacrifice here.
he was speaking.
Yeah. Well, how do you like that idea? How do you like that idea? Look, if we, as Mr. George was saying, if you got to accommodate everybody, yes, it might be too costly, but if you cut everybody's pay in half, cut the entitlement in half, cut their cars in half, whatever.
Well, I think that cutting is inevitable. There's going to be a slimming down of expenses and all that in governance
you think?
now.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon.
Because it's an APC change administration.
Yes, and I think even some legislators, senators, people are saying, you know what, that we're going to not half our salaries. I think the president and vice president even did that already. So
yes,
it's already like that.
They're
so
taking a pay cut. Some people are.
Exactly. So they're leading by example, and others will have to follow. I believe that. And as I was saying earlier about change, it's foundational. And transformative leaders always are known to actually work on the foundation. And that's why I'm so glad to hear that they're going for like a retreat, to re-strategize, to refocus.
Somebody was talking about the Singapore situation.
Exactly, to rebuild this new Nigeria, we're saying, because there are some things in our foundation that needs to be, underpinned, and to ensure that we can build that great nation to what this is going to be. So when it comes to even like the new ministries and all that, I believe some of them names may be changed, or actually, hopefully, maybe new ministries will be built, you understand, to accommodate other pressing areas in the economy. So change is essential, and it's transformative. And the first, when they're building, you don't see the foundation, you don't see them. It's after a while,
and a lot of
you
work
now
and
start
expense
seeing
goes
the
into it
superstructure.
that is then covered up. Okay.
Exactly.
But Yakub, thank you very much, sir, for holding on all that while. Please go ahead now.
Yeah, good morning, Chief Yori.
Good morning, Yakub. I don't know about the chief.
The two wise men in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yori, I think Mr. President finds himself in this kind of situation because of the kind of constitution that we run in this country, we operate in. Because if you could remember the time of Shivolube Shegun Obasanjo, he even appointed more ministers than 37 that time. That is to tell you that food for the boys, that in terms of political, the people that help him to get to that power, he give them. That is where you now get Minister of State 1, Minister of State 2, and all that. See, Chief Yori, to me, we don't need so much minister because we are going to spend a lot of money to manage them. We only need, let me just tell you this thing. Number one, Nigeria need the infrastructure. We need energy. We need, in terms of education and then economics. See, all those areas and security included. See, Chief Yori, let me give you a simple analogy. Now that football is going on in Chile, Nigeria took 22 players to that place. And then they can only allow using 11 players. And then afterwards, you can only change 3 players. And then what are they now? They are in semi-final. By God's grace, they will get to the final and then they will bring out the cup. Tell me, Chief Yori, how can they take all of us to that Chile and then win the cup? It cannot possible. We need a minimum of just, maybe if I have my way as a president, if I be a president of this country, I will not need more than 11 ministers. So that you can be able to control them. Not that you have a lot of ministers and then this one will go, this one will go, and they don't know what is happening.
Okay.
You,
all right then, Yakub.
Yes, what I was saying was, for instance, you could say now, one minister responsible for resettlement in Northeast, one minister for East-West Road, one minister for Niger Bridge at Onitsha, Asaba, is the second Niger Bridge now. That is the task the person will wake up, dream, and ensure implementation.
Right through the day. That's
right
the only thing
through,
he's thinking about.
Because all he's doing is that is the work he's doing. So he's not being called to attend to other matters. And when he's reporting, he will report, how far have you gone? He says, sir, we got to Sagbama, and that there used to be a shrine there. And the people said, not really,
of course.
The people said that that shrine has to be treated with respect. So they said they have to appease the gods. So, somebody who goes into the detail and comes and reports. We will not achieve anything with the system we were running before, where the president will promise, the former president promised so many things and he could not deliver.
Indeed.
And some of the people that were put in charge of those assignments were given other assignments. Nobody called them to account. This is the era of accountability. You, Minister, I gave you Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. I want it delivered in 36 months. You are still telling stories.
Yes.
It's time for you to go.
Okay. Mr. Odebi from Ikeja. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yori.
Good morning. It's just Yori.
This morning, well, thank God for the topic you have brought forward today. You see, we always love to live in delusion. Nigeria, as it is now, with the present economic situation, we can't afford 36 ministers. It is not possible. The ministers, they will have special assistants. Their special assistants will probably have special advisors, and it will go on and continue like that. They will have private cars. They will have official cars. We cannot continue to live like this. This nation cannot afford all this. It is high time the president send an executive bill to the National Assembly to see how we can amend the constitution so that these ministries can be reduced drastically.
All right.
We cannot even afford 2 arms of the National Assembly. Which is too small for us.
Oh, just one house will do. One house will do.
Exactly.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming. So all this cutting. There's a sense in which the point has been made about we don't really know how much will be saved by not having the bloated cabinets that we used to have. But perhaps it's not exclusively about money. And kobo saving. Perhaps it's to remove this whole area of the jamboree aspect, the spoils of war, even if it is electoral war. The spoils of war, everybody is going to be accommodated. Yeah, they can be, but it doesn't have to be in that particular cabinet. I guess that might also be one of the points. That it's not about penny pinching only. It's also about our psyche. People have said the orientation we have is that there must be something for the boys. Well, people need to know that, no. First of all, there are no boys around. This is not the time for boys. This is the time for men. And then secondly, men of integrity. So it's not a matter of time for them. I suppose that might also factor into this whole idea about, I can't take 36 ministers.
Well, it can. You know, we must, I insist that until the Constitution is amended, so that the president does not run foul of the national, I mean, it could be impeached if it violates the Constitution. 36 ministers, call them what they call, departmental secretaries, whatever. Give some, call them ministers for special duties, and give them special assignments and tasks.
We used to have minister plenipotentiary. Is that the same thing?
No, that's more the foreign service.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
Alexis Subaya is also on the line.
Let the cabinet work a lot in committees.
Yeah.
So they only meet once a month. You have the committee for new projects.
Whatever.
And they come and deliver a report to the cabinet meeting
exactly.
once a month.
Alhaji
so they
Subaya,
can work.
you're going to be our last caller. Thank you for holding on.
Okay, I mean, if you already know, my credit has been wasted, but I will take it, just to express my view. Yeah. You see, the point is this, Chief Yori, I just want to say something. I want the government to even now, Nigeria wants something, physical. The state we find ourselves now, we want real. Now, take for instance, I'm happy one of your guests mentioned the issue of Lagos-Ibadan Express. I want the government to declare that place in that area in state of emergency. Our leaders, they are fond of going by air, and that is what we don't know. I pass that place almost 3 hours, I'm there. For instance, a lot of people are suffering on that road. Apart from the ministers, not on ground, we have DG, we have a permanent secretary. Why can't they do a kind of amendment to allow Nigeria to free? 1 million people is coming to Lagos every day. I mean, that place will be declared a state of emergency.
Okay.
That is one. Give you another issue with Nigeria is interested. Good enough, our president has discovered the looted money in the NOV. Now we are in the problem of mess, of economic mess. Let the president retrieve this money. One of the announcements we had is that this money is more than 3 years of our budget. Let him bring back this money and use it for the utilization of Nigeria. Okay. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Subaya. This is the home stretch, really now. The matter of cost cutting, being frugal, and all of that is to one side, but people, especially the opposition, and not just the opposition, everybody really wants to see what the strategy is. And I suppose it's about crossing the T's and dotting the I's that this retreat is all about, making sure that everybody is on the same page. So, because people are impatient. Mr. Baye spoke about it much earlier on. We've heard about it from home too, about projects, crucial, almost indispensable projects not slipping through the cracks simply because there's nobody in charge.
Exactly.
Put supervisory people there. A lot of people can't understand how President Obasanjo was there for 8 years and Ota, which is his environment, was not fixed, could not be fixed. So these are some of the things that we're going to have to be grappling with. But the first thing is for Mr. President to make sure that we're all on the same page. My ministers know exactly the kind of thing that I want, and I know exactly their capabilities. Surely everybody must applaud that.
Absolutely. And I believe in this time that Nigeria needs inspirational leaders who have like project managers kind of mindsets. People who are going to be tax oriented, who are going to have KPIs, key performance indexes that they need to work towards. This strategic meeting that they're having, the retreat and all that, it must be actually a strategy meeting
So
working towards
goals and measurable goals. So we can actually measure you and measure your performance. There was a time when the previous administration talked about this as well, all right? They had to come and whether their performance would be evaluated.
But my problem is that people talk about something, they don't bother to hold themselves accountable for what they just said. That's why I'm saying it should be different.
Yes.
If the president says so and so is going to happen, somebody takes a note of it and draws the attention of whoever is in charge of that, has responsibility for that ministry, agency, and says the president has promised that by the June of next year there should no longer be strike in the health sector. So come up with proposals how we're going to resolve
achieve
it.
that
Yeah,
particular
Exactly.
result.
and let them be
That's the
accountable
kind
And
of
let
for
them
work
be
that we need.
accountable for it. Nigerians will be happy.
Yes.
It's easy to please
Because what-
Nigerians
because
because
what
when
we-
they see you working hard
Yeah.
and achieving even minimal results, they believe, oh, they try self.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it here. I want to thank you very much. This is very, very important, especially as everybody has been waiting for this administration to kick off, you know, and I think just about everybody has said that the men and women that have been screened, Senator Saraki, Senate President Saraki said it, men of sterling character, men who are able to do the job. So the next level is, okay, let's see the strategy, or if they don't want to show us, let them show themselves. Let them be very, very clear about the strategy and then get on with it.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clem Baye, our
Thanks,
policy
Harry.
analyst, for coming on.
Thank
And
you.
also Mr. Jermaine Sanwo-Olu, UK-based PR consultant. How much longer do you have at home here?
Well, I'm actually leaving tomorrow.
Okay.
No, actually tonight, you know. This
Okay.
night.
You have a safe trip back now.
Thank you.
But Dakwadru Ajoye, your man, will be on tomorrow. You see him then. Bye-bye for now. I'm Yori Folarin.